Hello, so I'm Sebastien Goulard from Cooperans, and today we are talking about Uttar Pradesh, India's most populated state. For July the 14th, India Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit France, Paris. So it's really a good time to talk about India and to increase relations with between France and India. So today I'm with two representatives from InvestUP. So please introduce yourself and talk a bit about InvestUP, what this agency is doing.
Okay, so hello, I am Khyati Srivastava, and with me is
I'm Pragya Sharma.
So we are basically consultants working for the investment promotion for the state of Uttar Pradesh at InvestUP. And to brief about InvestUP, if I can say, so InvestUP is an investment promotion agency for the government of Uttar Pradesh. So what basically the InvestUP does is helping the investors around the globe on four parameters. One, helping them to understand what are the opportunities in UP and figure out what are the areas where they can collaborate and come to UP and expand their businesses and set up their businesses here. While setting up their businesses, if they look for any assistance for that kind, any assistance in form of getting land or clearances or any approvals or NOCs, then InvestUP is the one-stop point for all kind of facilitation. When coming up to further, during setting up the project, if you require any incentives or any policy level support, then we are also a policy advocacy arm of the government where we help the investors from across the sectors to create a lucrative policy setup for any industry from any country to come and set up here in UP. And also in that process, there are some incentives also which the state is already providing to the investors. So we help in getting those incentives for the investors. Then also we help in
Basically, we are there to help an investor during their entire investment life cycle.
Yes.
Starting from, maybe looking at land and getting them a facilitation for buying that land within a government industrial development authority, or if they want to, get in touch with a private aggregator to purchase land, and that is what we help them with. Next step would be getting those NOCs and stuff, all the approvals that they need to start, basically initiate their business or their industry within the state. And post that, the third step, that if they need any incentives and the subsidies that the government is providing for actually starting a manufacturing business within the state in various sectors. So we have one main industrial policy and 25 sectoral policies to support them on that. Yeah, so we are taking care of the entire life cycle, when and wherever you need any support, we are there to help you. You can just, we are just very similar to Invest India. They are also doing it for the entire country, and we do it for the state.
Okay. And how many projects do you accompany, every year?
Okay, so if you're talking about investments, then just to give you a small example, in 2018, about 4.26 lakh crores of worth MOUs were signed, and we were able to ground almost 50% of them in the next 5 years. So that will give you a figure. This year, if we talk about 2023, we signed almost more than 19,000 MOUs for investment worth 35 lakh crores. So we are targeting them that in the next 5 years, we'll be able to ground more than 50% of that. So we are working hard towards it. We'll be having our first groundbreaking ceremony in the month of October or November. That is when we already have a target of grounding certain number of investments that were signed in 2023 Investor Summit. So that is how we. Yeah.
So can you talk a bit about UP, Uttar Pradesh, how this state can be compared with other Indian states? How different is Uttar Pradesh from other states, and why we should invest in Uttar Pradesh and not in other states of India?
Just to give a brief, we have a multi-pronged approach to supporting
Of
the
course.
investor. We are focusing on infrastructure, we are focusing on policy advocacy, we are focusing on governance. We have the largest consumer base because we are a 240 million population base here. So that is one of the key strengths that we have. We are leading in agriculture, we are leading in IT sectors. So there are multiple ways in which UP is way ahead of other states, or at least maybe giving them tough competition as to.
There
Yeah.
are several opportunities. One biggest opportunity is that UP is the biggest marketplace, where with a population of 240 million, largest consumer as well as labor market. Then it is the northern states, which stretches from the NCR, which is the National Capital Region, till the eastern coastal areas or eastern belt, where the access to the Haldia port is accessible. So it is one of the fourth largest state in the northern belt, which stretches from the NCR till the Kolkata and West Bengal region, where you can access the seaports of Haldia seaport. Then the biggest flagship program of the government of India, which is about the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor and the Amritsar-Kolkata Industrial Corridor, with the freight corridors, is also passing through UP, where the Eastern Freight Corridor, 57% of the Eastern Freight Corridor, which is coming in India, is in UP, and around 9% of the Western Freight Corridor is coming in the UP.
Okay.
So we can say that UP is the biggest beneficiary of the freight corridors in India.
And
then
do you have some? Sorry.
Yeah, please tell me.
Do you have some special incentives for investors to invest in UP on the corridor?
On the corridor, like, there are no special incentives for the corridor per se, but I can say that the corridor passes through specific regions which come into Bundelkhand and the Purvanchal regions, where the state is giving extra subsidy, higher subsidies.
Okay.
Larger chunk of the Eastern Freight Corridor passes through the Bundelkhand, which is the southern and the eastern belt of the state, and higher subsidies are being provided to the state.
Okay. We'd like also to know about your main foreign investors right now in UP. Where do they come from? How big are they? Can you give us some examples?
Main offering, if I can further go on the opportunities existing in the state, you can see if in India you compare, UP is the biggest buzz where ESDM industry is considered. The entire belt near the NCR region, it is one of the largest exporter of electronics and electronic devices where they are manufactured and exported from India.
Okay.
Then other fortes, if you can say, the biggest flagship programs of the government of India, which is in terms of defense manufacturing, is coming in UP. There are two defense corridors which are being announced by the government of India. The largest one is in UP, around which is for 5,000 hectares of land, which is planned. And we have some big players like BrahMos and all coming to manufacture missiles and other defense equipments in UP. So this is again one of the biggest key offerings that we provide after the ESDM industry. Then when it comes to logistics, also UP is doing fairly enough, because we are the first state to have an inland waterway which is coming in UP. So a lot of multimodal logistics and freight terminals are coming up in UP. Around, I think presently we have 13 upcoming freight corridors, which are freight terminals which are coming up in UP.
Okay. Another question.
Being a landlocked state, we basically, we have created this initiative wherein we can actually provide these avenues to our investors, that they can get all their cargo directly shipped to that inland waterway straight to Haldia port. So that is something that we have created with us. One of our key strengths. If in terms of air connectivity also, we have now the leading state. We already have 5 international airports and almost around 13 airports that are coming up. So we'll have tremendous connectivity with international locations in that sense. We have numerous expressways and highways. We are already being, termed as the expressway Pradesh of the country, because we have multiple expressways existing and also planned, which will,
Yes.
expedite the connectivity within the entire state. So as far as an investment within UP is concerned, the investors will won't face any such problems if connectivity and logistical issues are concerned. Our ease of doing business team is also working very hard. We have almost all the processes now online, and we came into the top performers and the top achievers category within the country as far as ease of doing business is concerned. So we have special ways of incentivizing FDI incentives and bigger
Yes.
players who are coming.
Yep.
Yeah. So once we get to know that who all are the investors who are interested, we'll definitely take that route. We'll help them sign an MOU with the UP government and provide them special facilitation. And you'll have a specific investor friend or Udyami Mitra that we call, that will be allocated for your case, a case manager allocated for each and every investment case
To handle
the investors from start.
Okay, so each investor is accompanied during all the process.
Kind of relationship managers will be assigned to them. And beyond, as Pragya mentioned, we have specific policies also, where for the FDI investments, the government is providing fast track land allotment, and they are providing higher incentives for the FDI investors coming to the state.
And what are those high incentives? Do you have some examples?
Yeah, so higher incentive, when we say the incentives are provided in certain heads, like it is a capital subsidy, or it may be in forms of reimbursement of the tax that you deposit in the state. So for say you set up a manufacturing plant and you are levied a charge, a GST or goods and services tax of around 9%, then there is a subsidy wherein the state will reimburse the entire tax that you have submitted in the state's account.
Mm-hmm.
And it may go, when we say higher, it may go up to 300% of your investment in certain regions.
Okay. So are there some regions in Uttar Pradesh that the government wants to focus more?
Yes. The same regions where we talked about, the southern belt, the Bundelkhand region, and the eastern belt, the Purvanchal region.
Another question would be about research and development. What are the relations between between companies and universities in Uttar Pradesh? How are universities ranks in Uttar Pradesh?
Yeah. So for the university part, when we say universities, both the government universities are coming up. Yes. Basically, right now, most of the universities are centrally located mostly in the western region, but the government is taking initiative to set up universities in the Bundelkhand, Purvanchal, and other regions as well. Besides government, the state, when we call the 19,000 MOUs that have been signed, there are a lot of MOUs which are signed by the private university educational institutes which want to set up their university, and the state is promoting them in getting license and providing them land and incentives both to set up specific skill related or education course related universities in different regions of the state.
Okay, great.
And traditionally also Uttar Pradesh has one of the best colleges that the country has to offer. We have IITs, we have triple IITs, we have PHUs, IIMs, Aligarh Muslim University, all these names that you must have heard of, across the state. And we are also focusing on establishing center of excellence through these universities, incubator setups for startups through these universities, and trying to help the basically the entire investor scenario and the startup scenario within the states. So that is how we are also trying to support the new upcoming universities by having collaborations with the older ones that are already existing.
Okay, so connectivity, innovations are strong assets of UP. How do you see UP in 5 or 10 years? What are the main industry or sectors where we should invest and where the government is putting some efforts?
So we'll be leading in IT and we'll be leading in renewable power in the next coming 5 years within the country.
And defense.
And defense also, yes.
Logistics also is one of the sector
That we are focusing on. Yeah, we are key focused on.
lot of with the investments in infrastructure coming up. There is lot of warehouses and logistical terminals which are coming up in UP. So that is another sector. Then
Okay.
textile is also because we are there is traditional skill set of textile in the state, and to mobilize that skill set, the state government has initially launched a ODOP policy where a lot of clusters for they specialize in textile manufacturing in kinds of embroidery or apparel designing.
The local arts and handicrafts, we are also trying to promote, work with the local communities and promote their handicrafts. And that initiative of Uttar Pradesh has been recognized at a national level now. Whenever, most probably maybe when our PM, Honorable PM visits your country, they will be gifted ODOP products only from UP.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
To leverage it further, there is a biggest textile park which is also coming up in UP, and 2-3 textile parks are coming. Garment park and textile parks are coming in UP. So
Okay.
that could also be one sector
That can be focused on. We were earlier leading in agri sector, so now agro processing is also coming up in at a
Big
whole
way.
new level, in a big way. Then there are other, there are almost 10 to 12 sectors that we have a key focus on. And we are trying to promote investments in each one of them, including, medical universities and
Yes.
medical education. Yeah, that is something also that we are promoting.
So for last question, I would like you to tell us what do you expect from French companies, and what could you say to push them to invest in UP?
So for the French companies, basically we would firstly like to focus the defense opportunities that the French can offer to us.
Okay.
In forms of both technology, patent, and other also in core manufacturing systems as well. We can also collaborate with the French companies when it comes to setting up center of excellence and R&D
Yes.
for the defense industry,
And especially for renewable energy also.
for renewable energy.
European companies are leading in terms of innovation in upcoming new sectors, including, EV, including AI,
Yes.
those kinds of initiatives. We would love to, we would love to collaborate with European companies, especially French companies, on such initiatives.
As you mentioned, higher education, then we can also have exchange programs or other
With our universities.
skill
amongst
programs and some academic exchanges that can happen between our universities and the French universities.
Okay.
Yeah, we can set up specific skilling programs, maybe to bridge the gap between the kind of skilled labor that might be needed, or skilled workmanship that might be needed for French companies, for whatever you are setting up. We can have specific programs for that too.
Okay. So I'm sure you have convinced some French companies to look at UP. So thank you very much for your time. It was a real pleasure to talk about UP with you, and we hope that we'll construct stronger relations between France and UP.
Sure,
That
definitely.
would
We
be
also
great.
look forward for the same.